Hello, thank you for watching my channel today. My name's Sarah and my channel is Your True Self. So today I thought I'd film a library haul because I have been getting quite a few library books recently, and this is kind of a silly idea because I have a lot to read of my own, but the reason that I go to the library every week with my kids, and so I'm in the library all the time, and I try and be really selective about what I pick up. I don't just like grab loads of books because I've got so many other books, but most of the things that I've got are things I've ordered for the Reading Women's Challenge because I haven't got books to fulfill all the prompts on my shelves. So I just thought I'd do a haul of what I've got from the library. There's 4 of them which are on order but they haven't come in yet, so I am including those ones, but I'll just insert a picture rather than hold the actual book up. It's really hot today. It's like, I don't know, 25 degrees or something. Beautiful sunshine, like right in front of me. The garden looks lovely. I might put a little bit of footage of the flowers in at the end because I'm quite proud of the flowers that I planted myself last year. So anyhow, without further ado, I'm going to go through the library books I have. So the first one is one that ashamedly I actually hauled before the library shut for the first lockdown, and I've still got it. And I really want to read it, so I don't know why I've still got it. But it is a non-fiction. It is The Shepherd's Life by James Rebanks. So this is a memoir of living in the Lake District and what it's like to live in like a shepherding community. There is kind of memoir and nature writing, which both things I love, and I've never been to Lake District, but I'd really like to go. I listened to the audio sample of this a long time ago and really enjoyed that, and so I saw it in the library and picked it up, but shamefully yet to read it. The second one is also one that's not for the Reading Women's Prize. It's just one that I've heard other people talk about, and it was a spur of the moment borrow. And this is Bookworm by Lucy Mangan. And this is another non-fiction. So this one's a memoir of her childhood reading. So it basically talks about favourite books and characters and things from her childhood, and uses that as a basis for a memoir. I'm not sure if I'm not actually sure who Lucy Mangan is. Is she like a journalist or something? A Guardian television critic, a columnist for Stylist magazine, and a features writer for other newspapers. So yeah, so she's obviously like a journalist. So yeah, that one should be fun. Then another one that was a spur of the moment one is one that was on my wish list. I've read all of his other, well, most of his other books. This one is We Need to Weaken the Mixture by Guy Martin. So for anyone who doesn't know who Guy Martin is, he's a British guy. He is a motorcycle rider and a truck mechanic, and he does a lot of programmes on TV now. So he used to ride in the Isle of Man TT, and he's now does a lot of television work. So he'll do things about like restoring things. So he's done he's restored old World War II planes. He's restored like he's done lots of challenges where like he'll have to ride around like a 360-degree dome on a motorbike and try and break records, or he'll try and break different records on like cycling and different machinery and stuff. So I know that's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but I really like Guy, and what my son's called Guy, and this is he's not named after Guy Martin, but Guy Martin definitely influenced me liking the name Guy. So this is like his 4th book that I'll have read, and it just talks about like the events that happen in his life really, and but I find it really interesting. I think partly because like my dad's an engineer, and so I've kind of grown up with someone who has that kind of mindset, and he rides motorbikes. So yeah, I really like Guy Martin. So yes, that's that one. And you know, I said most of these for the Reading Women's Prize, and so far none of them are they? Not a single one, but I have got some that are. The next one is one again that's been really popular on BookTube, and everybody's probably read this already, and that is My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell. So this is about a teenage girl called Vanessa who is a pupil at a secondary school. So she's 15 and she has a relationship with her English teacher. And from her point of view, it's like a consensual, loving relationship. But then I think years later it comes out that he's done the same with other teenagers at school. And people want her point of view. And she's always, as I said, been led to believe that this was a genuine relationship, and so it all starts to kind of unravel when she realises, well, I guess she realises that it was that she's sort of been gaslighted. But yeah, so it's supposed to be dark but good, and yeah, so when I saw that in the library I snapped it up. The next one I ordered in, I heard about this from Lauren of Lauren and the Books, and it's one that is going to be a tricky read, but one that I think is really important to read. And this is another non-fiction. This is Know My Name by Chanel Miller. So Chanel Miller was in 2016 on the Stanford University campus. She was sexually assaulted by a guy called Brock Turner. And even though he was caught, he was only sentenced to 6 months in jail. And her victim statement was read by 11 million people in 4 days and sparked international outrage. And so she's telling her full story of the whole thing. And I think it's really important that we read more about this kind of thing, because like the fact that he got 6 months is a joke. And there's a lot about women who get sexually assaulted, and there's such a tiny amount of men are actually caught, and even of those found guilty as well. So I think it's like a huge movement that needs to be pushed into the modern age, that it's not okay for this to happen, and that women need to be better protected, and that justice needs to be served when these things happen. So this one should be a really interesting read. So that's all the ones that are not for the Reading Women's Challenge. Then the rest of them are. So the first one is to read a South American author in translation. And thank you, shout out to Jo Smith, who is one of my lovely friends on BookTube, and she recommended quite a few things, quite a few books and authors that I could use for these prompts, so thank you to her. This one is called The Remainder by Alia, Trabucco, Zeran, and translated by Sophie Hughes. And this one was shortlisted for the Man Book International Prize in 2019. So this one does sound a bit grim, but hopefully enjoyable. So I'm just going to read the back because I think that's the easiest thing to do for this one. So it's set in Santiago in Chile. It says the city is covered in ash. 3 children of ex-militants are facing a past they can neither remember nor forget. Felipe sees dead bodies on every corner of the city. Counting them up is in an obsessive quest to secure these figures with the official death toll. He is searching for the perfect zero, a life with no remainder. Equela and Paloma too are searching for a way to live on. When the body of Paloma's mother is lost in transit, the 3 take a hearse and a bottle of pisco up the Cordillera for a road trip with a difference. So, intense, intelligent and extraordinarily sensitive to the shape and weight of words, this remarkable debut presents a new way to count the cost of a pain that stretches across generations. I don't think I've ever read anything in Chile, so it's just a reason why I love this reading challenge, because it really does broaden your horizons to books you would never have come across probably. So that's the first one. The next one I have mentioned before, this is for a crime or thriller in translation. This is Why Did You Lie by Yrsa Sigurdardottir. This is translated from Icelandic by Victoria Cribb. So this is about a journalist who is attempting suicide, and a couple return from a house swap in the States to find their home in disarray and their guests missing. 4 strangers struggle to find shelter on a windswept spike of rock in the middle of a raging sea. They have one thing in common: they all lied, and someone is determined to punish them. So that's that one. And then the 3 which haven't arrived yet. So no, the 4. which haven't arrived yet. So the first one is one of the authors that is for the Reading Women's Challenge is Yoko Ogawa. So for that prompt, I chose The Housekeeper and the Professor because I heard Emma from Drinking by My Shelf really recommend this strongly last year. This is about a professor, I think he's a maths professor, who has had some sort of brain injury, I believe, and he can only remember like a really short period of time, like about half an hour. And so his housekeeper comes in every day with her son and leaves him notes and messages and stuff, and they try and form this relationship, but obviously he can't remember who she is every day. But it's supposed to be really good, so that was that one. So that's on order. There's a short story collection from a Caribbean author. So for that one, I've chosen How to Love a Jamaican by Alexis Arthurs. So this is about Jamaicans who leave and stay in Jamaica and issues they face in the modern world. That's all it says in the synopsis. But I look forward to that because, again, I don't even know if I've read books about, like, for instance, Andrea Levy's books where people come from Jamaica to Britain, but I don't know if I've actually read books that are set in Jamaica. Maybe, I think probably she's the only author, but anyway, so I look forward to that one. Then I have for Alexis Wright is another author who is one of the authors to read, and she's an Australian author, and for that one I have chosen The Swan Book. This sounds really intriguing. So this is set in the future and it's Aboriginal people are living under the intervention in a place where there's been dramatic climate change. Our main character is called Oblivia, and she's a teenager and she's mute, and she's living in swampland in the north of Australia. Then I don't know how, but she ends up then marrying a man who is destined to be the first Aboriginal president of Australia, and she ends up moving to the south of the country and she's confined in a tower. So it sounds a little bit like a fairy tale retelling, but yeah, it sounds interesting as well. And then the last one, this is for an Eastern European author, and I chose Yrsa's Ballad by Magda Szabo. So this is about a woman who loses her life's companion, and a woman who is a mother who's trying to get close to a daughter who she never really knew, and the meeting of the old-fashioned and modern worlds. And I think I should have looked this up before I did this. I think that Magda Szabo is from Hungary, but I will put a little correction across the bottom if that's wrong and she's actually from somewhere else in Eastern Europe. So yeah, so that's going to keep me going for a while. So I need to focus in on the Reading Women's Challenge books. I need to have a good old like sprint through of the library books. So at the moment I'm reading a buddy read. So perhaps after I finish that one, I will then pick some of the library books up. Because I guess soon they're going to be reintroducing like renewal dates and fines and all that kind of thing. So I need to read them before anyone else orders them. So that was my library haul. If any of these books interest you, or you have any comments about them, or you've read any of them, then let me know because I'd love to hear from you, and I will speak to you all soon. Have a good week.